Hi everyone, this is the Algebra 1 video for the week of April 20th through 24th. So in this video I'm going to show you what the expectation is for this week. Okay, the expectation for the following week, just to give you a heads up, is April 27th through May 1st. We did finish the Chapter 9 material before spring break, so next week we're going to do the Chapter 9 closure review, and then you'll take the Chapter 9 individual tests. Okay, but that won't be till next week. So what we're going to do is take this week and take an opportunity to do hopefully a little fun activity for you to do, a challenging one for sure. That'll help you review for not only Chapter 9 tests, but a lot of other material that we've done throughout the whole year. Okay, so this is just one of the pages in the PDF that I will post in Google Classroom. We were required to put this in there. So this is for Algebra 1 for my class, Mrs. Kuhn and Ms. Kistler's class. Okay, so here are the instructions. Okay, so you may complete this Algebra 1 escape room on your own or with a partner. Okay, so only 2 people at most working together. You may only work with someone from your class. Okay, so students from my class may not work with students from Mrs. Kuhn's or Ms. Kistler's, and vice versa. Okay, no more than 2 people in a group. Choose one person to be the team captain. So once you figure out who you're working with, choose one person to be a team captain. Okay, you do not have to work with a partner. If you'd rather work on your own, that is fine. Okay. All right, so the team captain needs to complete this Google form to inform us that they are the team captain and tell us who he or she is working with. Okay, so we know who's partnered up and who's working by themselves. You will also indicate to us who your algebra teacher is. Okay, if you're working alone, still complete this form, and there is the link. The PDF is not going to be a live link, so if you open up the PDF in Google Classroom, you cannot click on this. It's not a live link. However, I'm going to post this as an announcement as well within Google Classroom, so it will be a live link in the announcement. Okay. Okay, number 3, whether you're working alone or with someone else, each person must do all of the problems. Okay, so you can't split up the work between you and your partner. Everyone must do all the problems. Each person will, at some point, turn in all of their work. Okay, at this time, do not take pictures of your work and email them to us. Just hold on to your work. Okay, there are 7 challenges, and they're labeled A through G. The work for each challenge needs to be on its own piece of paper. Do not put more than 1 challenge on a piece of paper. You may use the back of the paper, but only if it goes with the challenge on the front. So challenge A is on its own paper, challenge B is on its own paper, and so on. Make sure you put your name on each sheet of paper. If you use the back, make sure your name is on the back as well. Okay, you must do the challenges in order. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. All right. So how will you know if you have completed the challenge successfully? So there's going to be a Google form that you will enter your code that you found for the challenge. If it is correct, you'll be told so, and then you'll be given a link to enter in the code for the next challenge. At that point, work on the next challenge. For example, we will supply you with a link to enter the code for challenge A. Once you've completed challenge A, you'll enter the code in the Google form. Once you submit your code, you will receive instant feedback as to whether you were correct or not. If not, go back and find your mistake or mistakes and re-enter the code when you're ready. If it is correct, you'll be congratulated and supplied with a link to do challenge B. Then you will take out the instructions and materials and papers for challenge B and work to decipher its code. You will enter it in the new Google form for challenge B, and you will continue on after that. Okay, make sure you put your correct code on each challenge paper. I'll show you what I mean by that, as well as the master code sheet. Okay, and I'll tell you what I mean by that as well. Okay. All right. This is not a race with the other teams or students. It's a challenge for you to escape by finding all the codes. So don't think, the first one done, wins or whatever. Okay. So keep that in mind. All right. So in this document, this PDF that I've attached to Google Classroom, I suggest that you print pages 3 through 14. It is not completely necessary, but it may make it easier for you. Okay? However, one person on your team will need to print page 10. Okay, so if you can't print or don't want to print, that's fine, but someone needs to print page 10. If that is still impossible, email your teacher, or you can email me, and I will help you with how you can handle page 10. Okay. If you choose not to print, you need to watch this video to the end to understand the expectations. Okay. If you like a hard copy but you don't have the capability of printing, then you'll need to go to the board office or AMS to get a copy. We don't know where exactly you're supposed to go right now. That hasn't been determined, like what day or times. So I'll get back to you on that. Okay, in an email, or it'll be posted in Google Classroom. Other materials that you're going to need. You're going to need a calculator, paper, pencil, scissors, and tape or a glue stick. Okay, what if we don't understand the instructions for a challenge? Okay, so first you're going to watch this video that I'm making that's going to explain each challenge. If that doesn't help, email me, or if you're more comfortable, emailing your own teacher. And then if needed, we can arrange to do a video conference using Zoom or Google Meet. Okay. All right, so you'll get started when you're ready. So you'll take out the instruction materials for Challenge A, and this is the link for Challenge A. This is where you enter the code for Challenge A when you're ready. Okay. Again, this PDF is not a live link, but I'm going to post this in Google Classroom, and this will be a live link in Google Classroom. Okay. All right. So that's the instructions. All right. This is the master code sheet. Okay. This is one of the pages I would suggest you print, but you don't have to. So if you elect not to print it, you must copy this in some form. So I would suggest that you copy this here, okay, and then on your paper just write down your codes that you found for each of those challenges. Okay, notice challenge H is out. We're not having you do that. Okay, so this is the master code sheet that I was referring to, where you're going to write down all your codes once you've found them correctly. Okay. All right, so looking at Challenge A. Challenge A, actually, materials are 2 pages. Okay. So essentially, what you're going to do here, if I look at the directions on the first page, it says solve the equations along the edges of each triangle. That's over here. Place triangle A here. So what you're going to do is just place triangle A here to begin with. Then you continue placing the triangles around the decagon so that the equations on the edges match their corresponding answers. Okay. For example, okay, so what you're going to need to do on the second page here, you're going to need to cut out these triangles, okay, because you're going to glue them down or tape them down here in a certain arrangement. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to solve all these equations. So for example, let's look at letter A. You're going to solve this equation here. Okay, so let's say the answer is no solution. So here, letter D has no solution. So what you would do is you would line triangle A in its spot, and then you would put triangle D here. Okay, because the equation for A and the solution for D should meet and be next to each other here. Okay, and then you would solve the equation for challenge D. So the next thing you would probably do is solve this equation. Oops, didn't mean to cross it out. Solve this equation, find the correct answer on one of these other triangles, and let's just say it is -9. Okay, and so you would put next to triangle D, triangle H, and so on. You would continue working around your decagon here and glue down these here. Okay, so you're going to need to cut out these triangles here. Okay, now if you don't want to do that, let's say again you're not printing these out, that's fine. So what you'll do is this. You will need to copy down this decagon on a piece of paper, and then you can just write in, you'll draw these lines in, and then you can say, all right, I put A here, put D here, and then we put H here, and then we put, I don't know, G here, and so on, okay? But again, keep in mind, you need to show all your work, how you solved all those equations on its own paper, okay? But as for the challenge paper, if you're not printing either one of these, what you do is you draw the decagon and just tell me, label the triangle letter here, the letters that go in the decagon, okay? Now, to find the code, so look at the bottom of the first page for challenge A. It says the code is the letter of the triangles placed at the 4 circles written in alphabetical order. So the 4 circles, in case you don't see that, are right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's whatever letters end up in here. Okay, you just write them in alphabetical order. There's your code. That's challenge A. Okay. Okay, challenge B. Challenge B, there's just one page. Okay. Again, if you don't want to print this, that's fine, but you need to copy this here, which shouldn't be too bad because if you're using graph paper, you've already got the grids, and you're only putting one digit in each box. Okay, so you can use the little one. So these are all grayed out, okay, which means you're not going to use these. It's kind of hard to see on here, but all the ones that are grayed out, you're not going to use, okay? So it's just a crossword puzzle, okay? Sounds pretty simple. So let's see how you're going to do this here. So you're given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different functions up here. A of x, B of x, C of x, D of x, E of x, and F of x, okay? So let's look at, let's pick a challenging one. Okay, make sure we know how to do it. So let's look at this one here. Okay, so what you're going to do is order of operations. So you would evaluate E at 19 first. And we'll work inside the parentheses. So you'll look at E. Here's E. And you'll evaluate that at 19, which means you'll plug 19 as the input and find the output. Okay, once you find the output, you're going to take the output for E of 19, multiply it by 2, get that answer, and then you'll do 3 minus whatever you found when you multiplied the output by 2. Okay, you're going to get a number, and that's going to go on 2 down. So that answer would go in here. So it looks like it's going to be a 4-digit number. Okay. And then you'll complete the crossword puzzle. So to find the code says find this find the sum of the numbers in each row. Okay, so each row, I'm going to find the sum of the numbers in each row. That means the sum of these numbers, this is a row. This row looks like it's just those two. This row would be all of these numbers, so you'll do that. Find the sum of the numbers in each row, then you'll add those numbers. So I would put the sums out here for each row. And then it says add these numbers, so add up all these numbers, and then multiply your result by 8, and you're going to get, looks like a 3-digit number. And that'll be your code for challenge B. And you will enter that in the Google form. If it's right, you can move on to challenge C. If it's wrong, you need to try to find your mistakes. Okay, that's challenge B. Okay, challenge C is 2 pages. Okay. All right, so let's look at C. Let's look at the first page. It says directions. Write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form given the information on the puzzle piece. Okay, so here are the puzzle pieces over here on the right. So what you're going to do, if you're printing this out, you're going to cut all these out. Okay, so you're going to have 10 of those. You're going to cut them out. And what you're going to eventually do is you're going to glue them in these boxes over here. Okay, now if you're not going to print this, which is fine, you will need to draw this pyramid here. Okay, and then again, you'll just write down the letter you're going to put. So obviously it's telling you put D here, G here, A here, and E. And then let's say you want to put F here. Then on your paper, just show me that you're putting F there just by writing the letter F. Okay, so what are we asked to do here? Place puzzle pieces D, G, A, and E here, so that's pretty easy. So you've placed those there. Continue placing the puzzle pieces so that the y-intercept of the equation is the sum of the two y-intercepts directly below it. So what that means is you're going to, first thing you're probably going to need to do here is find the equations of all, how many are there? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 here. So you're going to find the equations of all 10 lines here. Okay? And again, on a separate sheet of paper, show all your work. So you find the equations of those lines. So now, how are you going to place them over here? So it says that the y-intercept of this line here, whatever the y-intercept you put there, okay, has to be equal to the sum of the two y-intercepts directly below it. So that would be this one here and this one here. So what you're going to do is you're going to find the y-intercepts of D and G, and then whatever you put up here above it, right here, is the sum of those y-intercepts. Okay, that one's going to have the same y-intercept as the sum of the y-intercepts of the two that are below it. Okay, so if you're looking at here, what goes here is that y-intercept of this blue area here is going to be the sum of the y-intercepts of these two, of G and A. Okay, and then likewise, whatever you put in here, the y-intercept of that is the sum of the y-intercepts of A and E. And then you continue working up the pyramid here. Okay, so how do you crack the code for C? Well, if you look down here, the code is the slope of the line at the top of the pyramid to the 7th power. So whatever this guy is up here at the top, right here, this isn't working, there we go. Yep, right here. Okay, whatever that slope is, raise it to the 7th power, and that's your code. Looks like it's going to be a 4-digit number. Okay, let's challenge C. Okay, challenge D. It says begin at problem 1. By the way, this is a 2-pager here. Okay, let's look at the first page though. All right. Okay, begin at problem 1 right here. Solve the problem, then pass your answer to the next problem. Write the previous answer in the box, then read and solve the problem. Keep solving and passing your answer until you have solved all 4 problems. Okay, so you will read problem 1, you'll figure out the answer. Okay, whatever that answer is, that answer gets it put in here. Okay, so this answer for problem 1 now becomes part of the question in problem 2. Okay, and then you'll come up with an answer with problem 2, and then that answer becomes part of the problem in problem 3. And then you get an answer for problem 3, and then that becomes part of the question problem 4, and then you will find the answer to problem 4. Okay, so you don't need to copy these problems down, just do the problems on a separate sheet of paper. Okay, all right, so cracking the code. Well, to crack the code, you need this wheel. Okay, in the beginning of the video, I said there's one page you need to print. This is the page right here, the wheel. It should be page 10 of the PDF. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take this small wheel, place it inside of the big wheel here. Okay, and then if you want to, you can put a pin through the middle so you can spin it easily. And so to crack the code, if you look at the bottom, it says line up your answer to problem 4 on the decoder wheel, then decode the word that's formed by these numbers here. Okay, so let's say your answer to the problem 4 is 2. Okay, so what does it say to do again? So the letter A, my answer to problem 4 was 2. I'm going to line up the letter A with the number 2. Okay, So here's number 2 right here. So what I'll do is I'll take the wheel and make sure that these two are lined up together. So I'll spin the small wheel so that the A and the 2, or the 2 is underneath the A. Okay, and then I'll leave the wheel in that position, and then I will go ahead and figure out what the code is by looking and seeing what letters correspond to these numbers. Okay, and that will be my code. Okay. So again, this page here is the one page you will need to print so that you can line up the wheels. Okay. All right, letter E. Again, if you're not going to print, this one won't be so bad. You're going to have to draw 4 coordinate planes, as you can see here. And it's pretty straightforward. You're going to graph each system of linear inequalities, clearly shade the solution region. For each graph, identify the letter that falls in the solution region. Write this letter in the circle to the left of the graph. Okay. Okay, so let me just do a quick. So I'm just going to make this up here. So let's say on this first one here, here's the first line, and we're going to shade above it. Okay, and then the second line, let's say this is the second line here, and we're going to shade to the right of it. Okay, so what point is in the system, the solution to the system? Well, in this case it would be point N. That's the only point that is a solution to the system. Okay, remember, to be a solution to a system, it's got to be the region that satisfies both inequalities. Okay, so then I would put that letter here in this box here, or in that circle. Okay, so you'll solve all 4 of those. So on paper you will graph all 4 inequalities, or systems of inequalities. Okay, so to crack the code, use the letters from the solutions above to create a 4-letter word. Okay, so you're going to have 4 letters, and it's going to be a 4-letter word. Okay. Okay, that's E. F. Okay, looks like a lot of exponents here. So simplify each expression. Look at the answers beside each problem. If the left answer is correct, circle the dots on the left of the domino. If the right answer is correct, circle the dots on the right side of the domino. So let's see, the first one's pretty easy. That answer I think is going to be this guy here. So what I'll do is circle this right here. Okay, and I'll move on to number 2. So I'm going to figure out the answer, and whatever side of the domino the answer is on, I'm going to circle that. Okay, so if you're not printing this, copy each problem, figure out the solution, and then write down the domino number next to the problem. Okay, so you're going to do all 10 problems. So how do we crack the code? Find the sum of the circled dots. So you're going to find all the circled dots. You're going to find the sum, which means add them up. The code is twice the square of this number. Twice the square of this number. So it means you're going to square the number, and then you're going to double it. Okay? And you should end up with a 4-digit number. Write the code in here. Write it on your master sheet. Enter it into the Google form. See if you're right. Okay, last challenge. Challenge D is a 2-pager. Okay, so this is all about factoring. You should be really good at this. So, factor each trinomial, find the 2 factors, then place the lettered factor on the left and the numbered factor on the right. So, for example, so if you're printing this, what you're going to do is you're going to cut these out. Okay, this is a sample down here, so don't use these here. Okay. So you're going to cut out these, okay? So you'll cut down here, and then you'll cut here. So you're going to have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 little rectangles, okay? And you're going to factor them. You're just going to tape them down or glue them down here where they belong, okay? So each answer is going to have a the lettered factored here and numbered factored here. So what do they mean by that? Well, if you look here, there's one of these factors. The left side is a letter and the right side is a number. Now these are all mixed up. Okay, 3x plus 4 does not go with x minus 9. Okay. So if you're not going to print this, obviously copy the problem. All right. Copy the problem, factor it, and then tell me which letter you're putting to go with that one there. So let's say it goes C, and then the number factored is 4. Okay? You would show me that it's C4. So what's that indicating then? That's indicating that the factors for number 1 are x plus 4 and x plus 5. Okay, which is not the right answer. Okay, but that's essentially what you're going to do there. Okay, so again, you don't have to print this out. Okay, just write down, factor it, and then show me which letter and which numbered factor go with it. All right, so how do we crack the code? The numbered factors set a point value to the lettered factors. If the value of a word is found by adding the values of each letter in the word, find a product of the values of the words candle and pink. So what that means is, let's go up here. So let's say C goes with 4. That means the letter C has a value of 4. So if I look at the word candle, okay, that means this has a value of 4. Let's say you find A matches up with 3, okay? N's going to match up with something, D will match up with something, and so on. And then you'll use the letters in the word pink, okay? So what you'll do is you'll add these, 4 plus 3 plus whatever, and then the same thing with the word pink. Let's say P went with 1, I went with 7, and so on, okay? So you would keep adding these up. You'll find the sum of all the numbers for the word candle and for the word pink, and it says find the products. Okay, so you'll get a number for candle, pink. The product means you're going to multiply them. Okay, and your answer should be a 3-digit number. Okay. Okay, once you finish challenge G, if you type in the correct code, you'll get a little message that says that you have completed it correctly and you've successfully escaped Algebra 1 for this year. Okay, and in the end there will be a little celebration video for you to watch. Hopefully you enjoy that. Okay, so this is the assignment for April 20th through April 24th. You have the whole week to get it done. If you have any questions, make sure you email your teacher. You can email me. Again, make sure you record all your answers on the master code sheet and at the bottom of each challenge. So escape room A, down here there's a 4 letters down here. You would fill in those boxes there. Okay, hold on to your work for each challenge. Again, everyone must do all the problems, and then we will collect that at some point. Okay, if for some reason we don't return to school, we'll probably have you either drop them off or have you email them to us. But we'll let you know that when the time comes. Okay. And again, as a reminder, next week we are going to look at the Chapter 9 closure, give you some review problems to do, and then you'll take the Chapter 9 individual tests. Okay. So that concludes the video. Good luck on the escape room. Email us if you have questions. Stay safe.